Hi guys. It's nice and early, about 3 o'clock in the morning, and not everybody knows about the Oddfellows. And I figured with the Oddfellow Manor technically coming from that name and from their prior owners, of course, I figured I might as well let you guys know a little bit of the history. Historically speaking, it is the Independent Order of the Oddfellows, which is the American branch, actually, of the Order of the Oddfellows from England. So the original Order of the Oddfellows, estimated sometime in the 1700s to have been founded, possibly older than that, but the historical record on that's pretty slim as far as it goes. But the Oddfellows in the United States became the Independent Order of the Oddfellows, primarily so that there could be a lodge in the United States from which to designate and approve further lodges in the United States without having to ask for permission over in the Queen's country. The Oddfellows themselves, the first lodge was Washington Lodge Number 1, located in Baltimore, Maryland, at the Seven Stars Tavern. That was April 26th, 1819, and that was Thomas Wildey and Associates, if you will. I'm gleaning a lot of this information from Wikipedia, if you can't tell. But yeah, that was the first American lodge, even though there were other lodges associated with the Oddfellows from the Britain side. This was the actual first dedicated independent order of the Oddfellows. As far as it goes, the history of this is that in 1819 it was founded. The organization itself continued to grow through the years. And let's see here, there it goes. So September 20th, 1851, the IOF became the first fraternity in the United States to include women when it adopted the Rebecca degree, and which started the Rebeccas. And they are the auxiliary organization associated with the Oddfellows. For the female counterpart, further history, later on, I think 1970s, 1980s, the Rebeccas were eventually kind of swept back in, and then the Oddfellows, instead of becoming men only, became men and women, and so the need for the Rebecca lodges were not as many. I think there still might be some out there, but I think a lot of that, whenever there's Oddfellows gathering, Rebeccas are also gathering, and women can be Oddfellows as well now. So not really that the name still exists historically speaking, but I'm not sure how active it is. It is estimated that today there are about 600,000 members in 10,000 lodges, estimate of course, in 26 different countries. So it's just not the United States, but this is everywhere around the world. As far as the actual history of the Oddfellows and how well they did, they were certainly a prolific organization, like many fraternal organizations at the time, with their history and what they were trying to present to society. The name Oddfellows, they're not really sure where it comes from. Just those are some odd fellows. It was because a lot of the organizations were based off of, I guess, guilds and usually apprenticeship programs, and so that's where Freemasonry and those sorts of things came about because of the tasks that they accomplished. The Oddfellows themselves, from the history that I can find anyways, doesn't really sound like they came from any particular background, but they were kind of an odd collection of fellows that were focusing on the charity of giving back and doing more for their community. So the organization here in the States did very well until, where was it? There it is. The American Civil War was the first big hit for apparently a lot of fraternal organizations. The divide in the country caused a pretty rapid decline in a lot of membership in those organizations throughout the United States. But then after the conclusion of the Civil War, the end of it anyways, there was this, what was called the golden age of fraternalism, and that's where actually a lot of these organizations just kind of bloomed. And from what I was reading on here, they were actually estimating that at its peak, there was something over like 2.6 million members worldwide in this. So I mean, that's quite a bit. So certainly a ton of members, ton of lodges, just growing everywhere, and just really showing a lot of promise. But unfortunately, what ended up happening is through that process of the world wars, in the early part of the 20th century, the Great Depression kind of hit, and in a move to help as many people as possible, the United States government started coming up with the New Deal and started creating all of these social contracts to help out people in need. And the actual need for these fraternal organizations who are charitable and trying to give back and build orphanages and take care of all these people, the need sort of dropped because the U.S. government was sort of picking up the slack there and doing what they could. So I guess it was after that the organization started to see a decline in membership, and has continued to see a decline in membership up until about 2000. And now it's actually, the membership is not continuing to decline. It's actually kind of leveling out and potentially increasing, but certainly we're in the early part of the 21st century, so we'll see how it goes. So as far as the lodge itself, is in the 21st century now. It is claimed to be the largest united international fraternal order in the world under one head. Every lodge is working with the Sovereign Grand Lodge, which is located in the United States, and then the Independent Order of the Oddfellows Manchester Unity, and the IOF have recognized that they're actually the old Oddfellows and the new Oddfellows, if you will, Old World and New World, are kind of working together to make one larger organization, and that you can actually go back and forth between the two if you're a member of one or the other. So I think that's where the statistics come as far as the total number of lodges and members. Like I said, about 12,000 lodges, 600,000 members in the world. So the framework of how the organization works and what they promote, just kind of giving you verbatim from what I'm reading here. It says it's a framework that promotes the personal and social development, or that promotes personal and social development. The activities aim to improve and elevate every person to a higher, nobler plane, to extend sympathy and aid to those in need, making their burdens lighter, relieving the darkness of despair, to war against vice in every form, and to be a great moral power and influence for the good of humanity. Teachings in the order are conducted through the exemplification of degrees of membership. The degrees are confirmed on the candidate by their lodge, and teachings of the principles and truths by ceremonies and symbols. And so, like a lot of fraternal organizations, there's a lot of drama, and there's a lot of showmanship in how they present a lot of these degrees. But it's basically, it's a way of, as you progress in their organization, it's anticipating that you are becoming a better and better person, and really learning these kind of core morals to help you be a better member of society, and to not only kind of give back, but to do what you can for all people. And a fantastic message. Is the bullet points here that they're given on the page, is to improve and to elevate the character of mankind by promoting the principles of friendship, love, truth, faith, hope, charity, and universal justice. To help make the world a better place to live by aiding each other in times of need, and by organizing charitable projects and activities that would benefit the less fortunate, the youth, the elderly, the environment, and the community in every way possible. To promote goodwill and harmony amongst peoples and nations through the principle of universal fraternity, holding the belief that all men and women, regardless of race, nationality, religion, social status, gender, rank, and station, are brothers and sisters, and to promote the wholesome fraternal experience without violence, vices, or discrimination of any form. So again, like I said, fantastic base messages, and just something to live by. I think it's a wonderful message for international places. I mean, they got the full list of different places. So you've got Argentina, you've got what's listed as Australasia, which I'm certain is probably Southeast Asia and Australia, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Cuba, Czech Republic, Denmark, the Dominican Republic, Estonia, Finland, Germany, Iceland, Italy, Mexico, the Netherlands, Nigeria, Norway, Panama, Poland, Puerto Rico, Philippines, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Uruguay, and Venezuela. And so it's lots of them. And apparently there's also some regional Grand Lodges, and it looks like the lodges in Liberia and Nigeria have since closed down. Asia had one in the Philippines, but it doesn't look like that one is still active. Australasia has 6, Canada has some, Europe has 13, Central America has 2, South America has 1. And so, and then the United States has 51. The Sovereign Grand Lodge, and then one for every state, I guess. So very well represented as far as it goes. Lots of notable members, famous people. Let's see any of these people that I might know. I didn't read the famous people yet, so I'm going to look through here and see which ones catch my eye. Hey, look at that. Robert C. Byrd was an odd fellow. Charlie Chaplin. John J. Cornwall, Wyatt Earp, Ulysses S. Grant, Warren Harding, Rutherford Hayes, Thomas Hendricks, Charles Lindbergh, William McKinley, Albert Pike, William Marsh Rice, the founder of Rice University, John Buchanan Robinson, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Yeah, so lots of famous Oddfellows out there. Those are probably only the U.S. associated ones. But yeah, so the Oddfellows themselves certainly have lots of imagery, and if you see the house, you might notice some of the imagery permanently on stonework in and around the house, and on some of the chairs. If you notice the 3 links, the 3 links is the one thing that seems that is common with the Oddfellows. Friendship, love, and truth is what those 3 links stand for. And so, like I said, this so you guys would know at least a little bit of the history of the organization. Granted, there's certainly a lot more, and I'm just reading at 3 o'clock in the morning and trying to get up to date on what's going on. If you guys have any questions or any topics that you might be interested in, just don't hesitate to send me a message and let me know. I find all this historical stuff very interesting, and I'm so excited to maintain aspects of this, and especially the message that they're given through the Oddfellows, to continue my work at the building, at the property, and as we continue to move forward. We do have some announcements coming up this month, but I'm going to save that for another video. And what we're going to do is we're just going to end this one here, so it's not too long, and you guys don't have to hear me drown on for much longer. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, day, whenever you're watching it.